Rasengan.
Boruto Chapter 20 spoilers are here. Relax, and let me explain to all of you what really happened in Chapter 20. This might be quite shocking, but Chapter 20 is truly perfect on an emotional level and definitely very exciting. First of all, you don't need to be disappointed because most likely, young Lord Boruto and Kawaki won't appear in Chapter 20. But the best news is that Sarada has finally awakened her Sharingan abilities. So, without further ado, let's get started. The chapter begins right after Team Sarada was previously in a dire situation because the sword meant to counter Araya's iron sand had been taken away by Ryu. With the situation becoming even more critical, they are left with no choice but to fight using only the resources and abilities that are far from optimal. Because from the results of the battle, Ryu, who we previously saw in yesterday's leak, he really showed his existence as a divine tree human. With his overwhelming ability and power, he defeated Mitsuki with ease. And after Ryu managed to defeat Mitsuki soundly, this was a very favorable position for Ryu, and he took advantage and also as a punishment for betraying him. He took Mitsuki and also Araya hostage. And for Yodo herself, after she was previously bitten by Tsumeka, in this chapter she was exposed to such a strong stab from Ryu that most likely also Yodo was on the verge of death. And as the remaining ninja, only Sarada is standing by herself. But seeing her friends in the worst situation, Sarada is confused about what to do. Then it's about Konohamaru. After previously he was on the verge of death because Matsuri wanted to devour him, Konohamaru managed to persuade and calm Matsuri once again. But I don't know what Konohamaru said to Matsuri, but it was really an effective way and even made Matsuri cry. But with that situation, Konohamaru didn't want to waste a good opportunity. When Matsuri was carried away from Konohamaru's persuasion and was also in her most vulnerable state, Konohamaru beat her to a pulp with double Odama Rasengan. But with such a crushing blow, it's not 100% certain that Matsuri is actually defeated. Because after Konohamaru betrayed her, Matsuri became even angrier, and it seemed like she was going to kill Konohamaru right then and there. And certainly, this is the last moment between them in this chapter. Then on the other hand, guys, it turns out that the Jura who is in the Shinju dimension feels something strange to Matsuri. It is not exactly explained how it can also feel that way, but most likely this is a normal situation as members of the same source can feel what is happening to them. Or in other words, there is a bond between divine tree humans. Then from the strange feeling that Jura felt to Matsuri, there is no confirmation of what Jura will do next. But of course, if it is true that Boruto is not in Chapter 20, then it is certain that Jura will not come to the battlefield. But what do you guys think? Will Jura come regardless of whether Boruto is there or not? So back to Sarada and the team. After Sarada's position was really down because all her friends were on the verge of death, at that moment Sarada's emotions and surges of heart were really triggered. With the 3 Tomoe Sharingan, Sarada activated her eye ability. Even more impressively, Sarada finally managed to awaken the ability of her eyes. And it's like a black hole. After I searched for some sources of leaks, especially about Sarada's abilities, it turns out that it's almost similar to Obito's Kamui. But for Sarada herself, this is a new ability and there has never been an Uchiha before that has awakened such an ability. Like a sucking portal from her Mangekyou Sharingan, but it's small. But with that, you might expect her to run away or something. But clearly, Sarada used her eye ability to suck out Ryu's iron sand. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, because this is a leaked text, not much has been revealed, but from these few leaks, I want to make a small assumption about what happens in this chapter. First of all, if it's about Mitsuki again. After I looked at the details of this leaked page, I found a meaning that I think makes sense. If you look at how Ryu poses to fight with Mitsuki, it looks like Mitsuki is the remaining ninja. The point is, since there is no more interference from the Araya sword, then Ryu will easily defeat them. However, since Mitsuki and Sarada are both offensive types, and Mitsuki with his Sage Mode absolutely possesses a lightning element, he can stall for a longer time. But even so, in the end, he still loses. The main point, though, is that the page in this leak seems to have been set up to make Sarada shine more. With the chaotic emotions of her friends being in danger, this was a triggering factor to awaken her Sharingan eyes. But honestly, I'm still curious if it was really just 3 Tomoe, or even with a different form of pattern. Because of course, to activate that ability, Sarada had to increase her Sharingan eye pattern. Was that pattern like the first time she awakened her eye in front of her father, or was it different? But the conclusion for Sarada itself is that Masashi really decided on something perfect. He didn't choose the same method or something like her predecessor. Although the leaks say that it's similar to Kamui, I'm sure it's something different and absolutely new. What do you guys think? And maybe this is the last one. In fact, in this leak, Konohamaru really kicked the butt of his haters. Being naive and acting to follow Naruto's way, it turns out that he actually remained on the mission that Shikamaru had ordered to betray her. He managed to gain trust and also opportunity once again. And of course, this is also like our prediction yesterday. When he is in trouble, then there will be a surprise that is beyond expectations. There is no way that a Junin like Konohamaru will easily end up like that. The point is, at least there will be an effort or surprise before this really ends. And because the facts are inconclusive about what happens in the end, at least this is enough to answer the curiosity of what will happen to him. The 2 Odama Rasengan are most likely not enough to kill Matsuri completely. But if it's not enough to kill her completely, I'm curious about the way she regenerates her wounds. Whether it will be the same as Hidari returning to the Shinju dimension, or even she will use the roots of the trees under the ground. This is a very interesting thing, isn't it? But what do you think, guys? Oh yeah, about Jura as well. As a leader who absolutely has greater abilities than others, will Chapter 20 also reveal the other abilities of his Rinnegan Eye? But it does make sense, of course, if the Rinnegan Eye is not just for creating Biju bombs or claw marks, because basically the Rinnegan Eye is something very special even in the Naruto universe itself. Then as the reincarnation of the 10 Tails, Rinnegan Jura should have something superior that has never existed in the Naruto universe. Whatever it is, surely this is something that we can look forward to. But what do you think Rinnegan Jura's eye is capable of besides Biju bombs and claw marks, guys? Because once again, whatever it is, I'm really looking forward to it. Oh yeah, because this is a leaked text that is absolutely not 100% accurate. I will always update if there is a further leak, especially if the leak in the form of an image is out. I will update this as soon as possible. Make sure you guys like and subs. I Nim. See you in the next leak. Bye-bye. Data bio.